Good morning, everyone. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about gate turn-off thyristor. So, in the last lectures, we have already discussed about different kind of semiconductor devices. For example, diode and SCR. So, diode is a uncontrolled device, and thyristor is a controlled device, but thyristor is a semi-controlled device. So, to overcome of this problem, the gate turn-off thyristor came into the market in early 1977. So, what are the learning objective of this lecture? To understand the working principle of gate turn-off thyristor and to understand the characteristic of GTO and its application. And I'm expecting after this lecture, the student will be able to understand the constructional features of a GTO and a thyristor and explain and he will be able to explain the turn-off mechanism of a gate turn-off thyristor, and he will be able to draw the block diagram of a gate turn-off thyristor gate drive unit and explain the functions of different blocks. So what are the content of GTO? What is GTO? Actually, these are the content of my presentation. What is GTO? Symbol, construction, principle of working, VI characteristics, advantages and disadvantages, and applications. So first we come to the introduction. What is gate turn-off thyristor? As you know that thyristor, it is a semiconductor device which is a family member of SCR. So the conventional SCR is the ruling device for the power electronics industry due to very high ratings. So it is a semi-controlled device. But GTO is a fully controlled device. So GTO has the quality to turn off through gate signal. That's why this is fully controlled. Because you know, in the SCR, to turning off the SCR, we required an extra circuit which is very bulky and expensive to turn off the SCR. But in the gate turn off thyristor, by applying a small negative gate pulse to the gate terminal of this GTO, we can easily turn off the GTO. So there are several type of GTO which is available in the market. One in which few GTOs I'm going to describe over here, which is very important. So there are three types of GTOs which I'm going to describe. One is your symmetric GTO, another one is your asymmetric GTO, third is your reverse conducting GTO. So several different variants of GTOs have been manufactured devices with reverse blocking capability equal to their forward voltage rating are called symmetric GTO. However, the most popular variety of the GTO available in the market today has no appreciable reverse voltage 20 to 25 volt blocking capacity. These are called asymmetric GTOs. So third one is your reverse conducting GTO. This is denoted by RC GTO. RC means reverse conduction. Constitute the third family of GTO. Here is a GTO is integrated with an anti-parallel freewheeling diode on the same silicon wafer. This lesson will describe the construction, operating principle, and characteristic of asymmetric GTOs. So there are three type of GTOs we have discussed. So one is your symmetric GTO. It means the device which have the reverse blocking capability, which is equal to your forward voltage rating. That is your symmetric GTO. But most popular GTO, which has the reverse capability of 20 to 25 volt, which comes into the category of asymmetric GTO, and the reverse conducting GTO, that is your that is integrated with an anti-parallel freewheeling diode on the some silicon wafer. So this lesson will describe the construction, operating principle, and characteristic of asymmetric GTOs only. Now we come to the symbol of GTO. So you can see over here that this is the symbol of gate turn off thyristor. So where you can see that this is your anode terminal. It has three terminal and four layer device, which is similar to the SCR. So according like SCR, it has three terminal. One is your anode, which is made always positive. Second one is your cathode, which is made negative, and gate through which you can on and off the SCR or this device. So these are two symbols. by which you can represent the gate turn of thyristor. So you can see over here the what is the difference between the symbol of SCR and GTO. That this is the difference which is over here, that there are two arrows which is given here. That one arrow shows that when you apply gate pulse to this terminal, the device starts actually device turn on. When you apply negative gate signal over here, GTO gets turned off. So there is no requirement of another circuit like SCR to turn off the gate turn of thyristor. So this is the uh, very important part of this gate turn off thyristor, which is a semiconductor device. Now we comes to the structure of the uh, gate turn off thyristor. So basically it has two kind of structure. One is your anode short GTO, and another one is your uh, uh, another one is your wafer type of GTO. So yeah, as you know, it has four layers, PN PN. So you can see over here that one layer, two, three, and four layers, and you can see over here that this it has three terminal. One is your cathode terminal, another one is your gate terminal, third one is your anode terminal, and it has three junctions, J1, J2, and J3. So uh, by uh, by this structure, you can see that the cathode terminal is connected to your N positive. N positive means that the N layer is highly doped as compared to N, this layer. Okay. So positive means the layer which is over here, which is highly doped. So why it is highly doped? Because it increases the capacity of the cathode, or you can say that the emitting capacity of the cathode, and it increase the emitting capacity of the GTO. Okay, so that's why this layer is highly doped. Okay, so like a thyristor, a GTO has also a four layer three junction PN device. In order to obtain high emitter efficiency at the cathode end, the N positive cathode layer is highly doped. Consider the structure of GTO, which is almost similar to the thyristor. It is also a four-layer, three-junction PN device like a standard thyristor. In this, the N positive layer at the cathode end is highly doped to obtain high emitter efficiency. I have already told you. So this result, the breakdown voltage of the junction J3 is low, which is typically in the range of 20 to 40 volts. It means when the this layer is highly doped, so the junction J3, this is your junction J3, this one, this is junction J3. So this junction J3 reduces the voltage, which is 20 to 25 volt. Now we comes to the next layer, which is your P layer, which is directly connected to the gate terminal. So you can see over here then that P layer is connected to the gate terminal. It means P layer is lightly doped. Lightly doped means when this layer is lightly doped, the electrons which is coming through this N positive layer to P layer, it combines the whole, and most of the electron reaches to this layer. So it increases the so like a thyristor, a GTO also. Sorry. Yes. So in P layer, what is happening? P layer is lightly doped as compared to N positive. So most of the electrons which is emitting through the cathode reaches to the anode terminal. So it increases the emitting efficiency of the GTO. So the doping level of the p-type gate is highly graded because the doping level should be low to maintain high emitter or emitting efficiency, whereas for having a good turn-off properties, doping of this region should be high. In addition, gate and cathodes should be highly integrated with the various geometric forms to optimize the current turn-off capability. Now, we come to the next layer. This is your the maximum forward blocking voltage of the device is determined by the doping level and the thickness of the n-type base region, which is given over here. This is your N region. Okay, so this is called your base. So the blocking capability of GTO is determined by this layer, which is your N layer. So in this N layer, the maximum forward blocking voltage of the device is determined by the doping level and the thickness of the N-type base region next. In order to block several kilovolt of forward, the doping level of this layer is capped relatively low, while its thickness must be high. Okay, so the doping level, if the doping level of N layer is very small, the blocking capability will be high. Now we come to the this structure. Now we can see that if this is slightly doped, so number of electrons will be less over here. So it is also lightly doped and it is also lightly doped. So the depletion layer size will be large and the blocking capability of this junction will be large. Okay. So beyond the maximum allowable forward voltage, either the electric field at the main junction J2 exceeds a critical value, which is avalanche breakdown, or the N base fully depletes, allowing its electric field to touch the anode emitter. Actually, you can see over here that if you increase the forward blocking voltage, if you increase the forward voltage at a particular time, the depletion layer will be disappear and the electrons directly come to this layer and will uh, touch the anode shorts. Okay, so this is your junction J2. Now we come to the junction J1. So what is your junction J1? You can see over here that anode is connected to the P layer. So P positive layer is highly doped. Highly doped means the number of holes will be large as compared to P layer in P positive layer. So the junction J1 because this is lightly doped and this is highly doped. So the junction J1 can be easily comes into the forward biasing mode. Okay, so this is all about the structure of GTO. Now this GTO is divided into two parts. Number one is your anode shorts and another one is your wafer. So first, the junction between the N base and P positive anode is called junction J1. So for good turn-on properties, the efficiency of this anode junction should be as high as possible, requiring a heavily doped P positive anode region. So, however, turn-off capability of such a GTO will be poor with very low maximum turn-off current and high losses. There are two basic approaches to solve this problem. Basically, what happens actually in the junction G1, what is happening? Anode layer is your highly doped. Anode layer is your highly doped. So if this layer is highly doped, the it will possesses the good turn-on properties. Okay, but its turn off capability is reduces. Okay, so its turn off capability is reduces. Fine. Because what do you want, what is the requirement to turn off a SCR? To turn off a SCR, the junction J1, J3, J1, J2, J3 must be in reverse biasing. And how it can comes into the reverse biasing? That there must not be any charge carrier in these layers. So if your anode junction is highly doped, means there will be number of charge carriers are more. So highly doped layer it is very difficult to remove those charge carriers from that layer to turn off the SCR. So the turn off capability of such a GTO will be poor with very low maximum turn off current and high losses. Okay. So there are two basic approaches to solve this problem. So what are these approaches? One is your anode shorted circuit. So we have already seen that these are the short anode and positive. These are the and positive anode shorts which are constructed over here. P positive and positive, P positive and positive, P positive. So there are some short which is inserted over here. You can see this. Now we can see that. hmm, In the first method, heavily doped N positive layer are introduced into the P positive anode layer. So they make contact with the same anode metallic contact. You can see that they this is your metallic contact. So these shots are directly contact in which this metal. Okay, with this metal. This is your P positive, N positive, P positive, N positive, P positive, which is directly in contact with this metal. So in the first method, heavily doped N positive layers are introduced into the P positive anode layer. They make contact with the same anode metallic contact. So therefore, electrons traveling through the base can directly reach the anode metal contact without causing hole injection from the P positive anode. Okay. So this is the classic anode shorted GTO structure as shown in figure. Due to presence of these anode shorts, the reverse voltage blocking capability of GTO reduces to the reverse breakdown voltage of junction J3, which comes to the 20 to 40 volts maximum. So in addition, a large number of anode shorts reduce the efficiency of anode junction and degrade the turn-on performance of the device. So therefore, the density of the anode shorts are to be chosen by very careful compromise between the turn-on and turn-off performance. So this is all about your anode shorts structure. Now we comes to the buffer layer GDU. As you know that in the anode shorted structure, we were facing the problem it degrade the turn on performance. It degrade the turn on performance. You can see over here because the electrons easily come into the this layer, okay, which is directly contact within this metal. Okay, they never comes into P positive layer, so its turn off properties increase, but after a certain level this degrade its turn on property. Okay, so to overcome this problem we use buffer layer GTO. So you can see over here that this is your P positive layer which is directly contact with anode. Okay, and this is your buffer layer. And okay, this is your buffer layer. What we did, the anode shorts comes into the one layer, only one layer. There are no shorts over here. This is your negative layer which is very lightly doped. This is your P layer which is directly connected to the gate terminal. These are or your N positive and N positive layer means which is directly connected to the cathode. So N positive layer is highly doped. P positive is also highly doped, and the anode shorts which comes to the in the same into the one layer, and N negative has number of electrons which are very less, and P is connected to the gate terminal. So as in the case of a power diode and BJT, this relatively high density buffer layer changes the shape of the electric field pattern in the N negative base region from triangle to trapezoidal, and in the process helps to reduce its width drastically. When its width reduces drastically, you can see over here. So however, this buffer layer is a conventional anode shorted GTO structure would have increased the efficiency of the anode shorts. Therefore, in the new structure, the anode shorts are altogether dispensed with and a thin P positive type layer is introduced as the anode. So the design of this layer is such that electrons have a high probability of crossing this layer without stimulating holes injection. So this is called the transparent emitter structure, which is very important. So already we have discussed about the uh, two structure of GTO. One is your anode short structure, and second one is your wafer type structure. Okay, so both are important, but we have to choose. We have to dope. We have to very careful take the doping of different layers. Okay, so it can easily balance in turn off and turn on process. Okay, now we come to the next. Now we come to the next uh, point, which is your during turn on process. In during turn on process, you can see over here that we have two transistor model over here. One is your PNP, another is your NPN transistor. Okay. So by the arrow, you can see over here that this arrow represent hole current and this represent your electron current. Okay. So hole is coming from this direction to this direction, means anode to cathode, and electrons are going from cathode to anode. Okay. So if anode is made positive with respect to cathode, what will happen? If anode is made positive with respect to cathode, what will happen? And the junction J1 and J3 will be in forward biasing, and J3 junction J1 and J3 will be in forward biasing, and J2 will be in reverse bias. So initially, if the is forward blocking voltage is higher than the forward voltage which you are applying across the anode and cathode terminal. So what is happening? The there will be some current which is flowing through your minority charge carriers. So the current which is flowing through this uh, through this GTO will be IC not 1 and IC not 2. Okay, so the current gain in this part will be less than 1. So alpha P and alpha N, which is showing the current gain. So when alpha N and alpha so alpha N and alpha P will be less than 1 in this condition. So how it will turn on? So turn on the SCR. First, you have to increase the voltage across anode and cathode, which is not the right procedure. So what you have to do, that there must be avalanche breakdown between these layers. So depletion layer must be disappear. So J3 must be in the forward biasing. So what will happen for this? We have to apply some gate pulse through this gate terminal. When we apply some gate pulse through this gate terminal, what is happening, that you are injecting some electrons in this layer. When you are injecting some electrons in this layer, what is happening? When you are injecting some electrons over here, what is happening? Uh, your charge carriers are increasing over here, and this depletion layer will be disappear because it is already lightly doped. So your device gets turned on and thyristor will start conducting the current. Okay, now another method by which you can turn on your gate turn off thyristor, like you have to increase the anode and cathode voltage, which is very large, but this can damage your GTO. So best and correct method is that you have to apply gate pulse through the gate terminal, and you have to inject some electrons into the P layer. Once it gets turned on, you can easily remove the gate pulse from this gate turn on thyristor. Okay. Once it is on, you can easily remove the gate pulse. Okay. Now, after getting on the GTO, the value of current gain, which is alpha n alpha p, becomes 1. Okay, so alpha n plus alpha p becomes 1, which indicates that your gate turn of thyristor is in on condition. Okay, so this is all about your turning on procedure of the GTO. Now we come to the gate turn off procedure. So for the gate turn off procedure, what you require, that there must not be any kind of charge carriers which is flowing through anode to cathode or cathode to anode. So removing these charge carriers, what we have to do, we will apply a negative gate pulse over here in the P region. Okay. Negative gate pulse means you can see that to turn off a conducting GTO, the gate terminal is biased negative with respect to the cathode. So the holes injected from the anode are therefore extracted from the P base through the gate metallization into the gate terminal. So the resultant voltage drop in the P base above the N emitter starts reverse biasing, and the junction J3 and electron injection stops over here. Okay, so by applying the negative gate terminal, the electron injection stops because the voltage drop getting uh, down in the P base above the N emitter, and emitter starts to come into the reverse bias, because what you are doing, you are applying a negative gate pulse. So this is negative, which is which makes because this voltage is negative, higher negative as compared to this, so it becomes in the reverse bias. When it is in reverse bias, it will not conduct any kind of current, so it can easily turn off. So turning off a conducting GTO, the gate terminal is bias negative, uh, bias negative with respect to the cathode. So the holes injected from the anode are therefore extracted from the P base through the gate metallization into the gate terminal. So the resultant voltage drop in the P base above the N emitter starts reverse biasing the junction J3, and electron injection stops over here. So this is all about your turn off procedure of the gate turn off thyristor. Okay. So you can see over here that by applying a small gate pulse to the P layer or to the gate terminal, you can easily turn on the SCR, as which is similar to the your conventional SCR. But in conventional SCR, you required a bulky and expensive turn off sorry bulky and expensive circuit to turn off the SCR. But you can see over here that when you apply a negative gate pulse to the gate terminal, the GTO easily can be turned off. So there is no requirement on to turn off the SCR any kind of extra or commutation circuit. Okay, so this is better than your SCR, and it has higher rating than SCR. It has 4000 volt and 3000 amperes rating of GTO, which is available in the market, which is used in very high power applications. Okay, we will discuss in this applications of GTO in the in detail in next unit. Okay, so this is all about your GTO. Now we comes to the VI characteristic of gate turn of thyristor. So what is gate turn of thyristor? The gate turn of thyristor VI characteristic are related to a conventional thyristor. Actually, big, big difference between conventional SCR, uh, big big difference between conventional SCR and the gate turn off thyristor is that uh, that it can be easily turned off by applying the negative gate terminal, but the procedure or you can say the characteristic in first quadrant will be remain same. So for GTO, the latching current is 2 ampere. Actually, we will discuss it later. What is latching current and what is holding current? First, we comes to the diagram which shows the VI characteristic of GTO. So you can see over here that the characteristic VI characteristic of this SCR is almost similar to the characteristic of the conventional SCR. Okay, means the turn on procedure is same for both the SCR. Okay, so what you have to do, you are making this voltage positive. I mean this terminal is positive, which is your anode terminal, and you are making this terminal is negative, which is your negative terminal. So what is happening basically, the when you apply positive voltage over here and negative voltage over here, the junction J1 and J3 becomes forward biasing and J2 remains in the reverse biasing. So you can see over here, when it reaches the forward blocking voltage, when this voltage reaches the forward blocking voltage, and after that the current start to increase. Okay, the current will start to increase. Means if you are applying gate pulse or gate current, then the forward breakover voltage getting down and it will become in the forward biasing, so it will start to increase the current. Okay, so by increasing the gate pulse you can get down the forward voltage, forward breakover voltage. Okay, now this is your reverse breakover voltage, which is represented by VBRR, which is less than to the SCR reverse breakover voltage. So you can see over here, when you apply reverse voltage over here means that you make anode terminal negative and you make cathode terminal positive. What is happening? The junction J1 and J3 becomes reverse bias and there is no leakage and there is no current will flow through the GTO. But there is small amount current which is flowing through the GTO. After some point, which is your reverse breakover voltage, after this voltage after this voltage or this point, the current suddenly starts to increase in the reverse direction. Okay, so this is your forward blocking mode and forward conduction sorry forward uh, forward conduction mode, and this is your reverse blocking mode. Okay, so for understanding it easily, we can divided this region into four parts. One is your forward blocking, and another one is your forward conduction mode, and third one is your reverse blocking mode, and fourth one is your reverse conduction mode. As you know, it is similar to the SCR. In forward blocking mode, what is happening, the junction J1 and J3 is remains in the forward biasing and J2 in the reverse biasing. After applying gate current, the forward blocking mode comes into the forward conduction mode, because the layer which is appearing across the junction J3, it suddenly disappears after applying the gate pulse. Okay, what is reverse blocking mode? In reverse blocking mode, the junction J1 and J3 is in reverse bias and junction J2 becomes in the forward bias. But when you apply any kind of gate pulse in the reverse blocking mode, or you increase the voltage, the depletion layer disappears and breakdown gets occur over there between the layers, and it comes from reverse blocking to reverse conduction mode. And these are the four parts by which we can divide the characteristic of a GTU. Okay, so this is all about your gate VI characteristic of gate turn off thyristor. Okay, now we comes to the advantages. So what are there are many advantages of gate turn off thyristor, which is listed over here. So first advantage of gate turn off thyristor, the gate turn off thyristor has outstanding switching characteristics. Okay, so the configuration of the GTO circuit has less weight and size than the thyristor circuit unit, as you know, because there is a bulky and expensive circuit required, which is called your turn off circuit, but there is no requirement of turn off circuit. So it is light weighted and size is small as compared to your conventional thyristor. So a commutation circuit is not required, hence cost, weight and size can be reduced. So the switching speed of GTO is high as compared with SCR. It is required less maintenance as compared to conventional SCR. Then the current surge capacity is similar to an SCR. The blocking voltage capacity of GTO is very high. DI upon DT rating are more at turn on and efficiency is high. So these are the advantages of gate turn off thyristor. Now, what are the disadvantages of gate turn off thyristor, which is including the following? So the it is associated loss as well as on state voltage drop is more. The structure of GTO is multi-layer. As you can see in the diagram that there are many layers which is slightly complicated. So the structure of GTO is multi-layered. So the gate triggering current value is high as compared to the conventional thyristor. Then high losses of gate drive circuit. The voltage drop of on state across the gate turn off thyristor is more. The latching and holding currents magnitude is high as compared to the SCR. The latching current value is 2 ampere, whereas for an SCR, it ranges from 100 milliampere to 500 milliampere. So as compared with SCR, the triggering current of GTO is high. So these are the disadvantages of gate turn off thyristor. Now, what are the applications, which is very important, that what are the applications of gate turn off thyristor? So gate turn off thyristor is used in many applications because of many benefits as compared to another thyristor, like outstanding switching characteristics, less maintenance, and no require of commutation circuit, etc. The application of gate turn off thyristors include the following. It is used in choppers as well as inverters. We will discuss what is chopper and what is inverter in our next lectures. Okay. So it is used at the main controlling device in AC drives, DC circuit breakers, DC choppers, otherwise DC drives, induction heating. It is used in traction applications because of less weight. Then it is used for low power applications, AC stabilizers, which is your power stabilizer, which is used in for power supplies. It is used in inverters, static war compensator, which is very important, and used in drive system like rolling mills, machine tools, and robotics. So there are many applications which makes the gate turn off thyristor very useful now these days, and it is better than your conventional SCR in some applications, because in DC to DC converter and AC to DC converter, if you are using a conventional SCR, then it has the problem of turning off, because you can't interrupt the main current, and without interrupting main current you can't turn off the SCR. But in GTO there is no need to interrupt the main current, but applying a short pulse of gate to the gate terminal, you can easily turn off the SCR. So this is the biggest advantages of this GTO, which makes it useful into very useful in many converters, which is your DC to DC converter and AC to DC converter. So this is all about your GTO, gate turn off thyristor. Now I want to summarize this lecture, that what is gate turn off thyristor. Gate turn off thyristor is thyristor which can be turned off by applying a small gate pulse to the gate terminal. Okay, that is your gate turn off thyristor. It has four layers, PN. It has three terminal: anode, cathode, and gate. and it has the large ratings like 3000 amperes and 4000 volt, which is very large rating of GTO, which make it very useful in many industries and to construct many circuits. Okay, now we studied about its working principle. So working principle basically divided into two parts. One is your anode shots and another one is your vapors structure. So we have already done about these two parts. Another one was your VI characteristics. So VI characteristic of GTO was drawn between voltage and current. Current was taken on the y-axis and voltage was taken on the x-axis, and there was the term of latching current. So what is latching current? Latching current is basically above which gate above which thyristor will start conducting. Okay, okay. So that is your latching current. Now we have done advantages and disadvantages of gate turn of thyristor, and we have seen the number of applications of gate turn of thyristor. Now we come to the next uh, point, which is your MCQ. Okay, so I have described here 10 MCQs, which is based on this lecture. Which is based on this lecture. So one is for number one, the GTO, gate turn off thyristor, is a PNPN device, PNP device, P metal and N device, PN single junction device. So you can see over here that the GTO, gate turn off thyristor, is a PNPN device. Okay. Next, the second question is here, the GTO can be turned off. So GTO can be turned off So the GTO can be turned off by a positive gate pulse, by a negative gate pulse, by a negative anode cathode voltage, by removing the gate pulse. Obviously, by a negative gate pulse, you can easily turn off the GTO. Now, another one is here, the anode current is ideally limited by the gate pulse amplitude, internal impedance of the device, load impedance, and gate circuit impedance. So anode current is can be easily limited by load impedance. Now, fourth question is, in a gate turn off thyristor, the N positive layer forms the anode and gate, cathode and gate, cathode and gate. So the right answer is your cathode, because we have already discussed that the N positive layer cathode is highly doped, uh, which is connected to the N positive layer. Now, the another question is the turn off gain beta of the GTO is given by, which is given by your anode current is divided by the gate current. So because basically when you are going to turn off the SCR, you have to interrupt the anode current. Okay. So it is defined gate turn off gain, which is defined as anode current divided by gate current. So right answer is the B. Now, a GTO can be represented by two transistors T1 and T2. So the current gain of both transistors are alpha 1 and alpha 2 respectively. So a low value of gate current requires if you want to apply a low value of gate current, so it always required a high value of alpha 1 and low value of alpha 2. So the right option is your C. Now another question 7. Gold doped GTOs have as compared to the conventional GTO. So it has high turn off time, low negative gate current requirement, low reverse voltage blocking capability, and lower positive gate current requirement. When you take a gold doped GTO, then it will require low negative gate current. Okay, which is very important, and it is a very good question. Now, another question is your latching current for the GTO is as compared to conventional thyristor. We have already seen in the VI characteristic that options are given here: A more, B less, C constant, and D cannot be set. So, the latching current for the GTO is as compared to conventional SCR is required more. Okay. So the latching current value for GTO will be high as compared to the SCR. Now, in case of the two transistor model, we have already seen the two transistor model of the SCR, T1 and T2 of GTO. With anode short, the anode short is placed between the anode shorts is placed between the emitter of T1 and T2, emitter of T1 and base of T2, emitter of T1 and base of T1, emitter of T1 and collector of T2. So it is placed between the emitter of T1 and base of T2. Okay. Now choose the correct statement. GTO have as compared to the conventional CTs means conventional thyristors. So less on state voltage drop, less gate drive losses, higher reverse blocking capabilities, and faster switching speed. So one is your less on state voltage drop, less gate drive losses, higher reverse blocking capabilities, and faster switching speed. So the gate turn of thyristor has higher reverse blocking capabilities as compared to your SCR. So this is all about your gate turn of thyristor. So I hope you would be able to understand gate turn of thyristor after this lecture, because gate turn of thyristor is very important, which is nowadays which is using in many applications, which is very important, and it is more beneficial rather than your conventional SCR. So this is all about your uh, gate turn of thyristor. If you have any question, you can ask in next lecture, and thank you.